Hi there, class. Welcome to another lesson. This would be lesson 4 on how to speak correct English fluently and with confidence. Today's lesson is going to be about fillers. Yes, there are a lot of fillers that are used in spoken English. Some of those fillers are to be avoided, while there are some fillers that can be used strategically for a good response, for an appropriate response from your end. Let us begin. See, these fillers are typically divided in two kinds. The first are impulsive fillers. Impulsive fillers are fillers where you don't mean to say that word, you don't mean for it to come out of your mouth, but you use it nevertheless impulsively, without knowledge of it, without being conscious of it, and you use it too often. Okay? These are fillers like just like, and kinda, sorta, okay, yeah, basically, definitely, I think. Yeah? Familiar? A lot of you would be using these fillers all the time. The 12 fillers that I just highlighted, you would be using at least 5 of them often without realizing it. The most common of them that I find are just like, basically. A lot of Americans, especially the Americans, do a lot of ums. Okay, and in India I find likes and I think, or basically, answering every question with basically, starting with basically. Okay, and Europeans use sorta, kinda, so do Americans often. Okay, so there are 12 fillers, we call them impulsive fillers. These fillers are to be avoided by you in use. Okay, let's go through them one by one. The first filler is called where you take a break, say The second filler is right? The third filler is you're saying something in the middle of it, to begin an answer you begin with to end an answer in the middle you say you take a gap, you say just like. The next is just like. Okay, the fourth is just like, I tell you, like, and. The fifth filler is and. The sixth filler is kinda. The seventh filler is sorta. When you say sort of, sorta. The next filler is okay. Okay. So in the middle of your sentences, you're using okay far too often. Okay. The next is yeah. The next is basically. Every sentence, every answer, you begin with basically this, basically that, basically this. Then definitely, for everything you're adding a definitely. Okay, definitely. I definitely think this, definitely. And then I think so, I think so. Okay? So these are 12 impulsive fillers in your spoken English that you should get rid of. Okay? Like, and, kinda, sorta, okay, yeah, basically, definitely, I think. Fine? So now the exercise that I'm leaving for you is get conscious that you're using these fillers and how many of these fillers are you using more often. So when you're having a conversation in English, remind yourself, okay, or get conscious of when you use these fillers and get conscious of which is the filler or which are the fillers that you use most often. Once you get conscious that you're using these fillers and you're using this particular filler most often, then your job becomes easier to avoid it. These are fillers to be avoided. Now I come to the next part of how to avoid these fillers. Okay. Well, my first tip is that get comfortable with silence and pauses. You see, to be an effective communicator in the English language, for that matter in any language, even in Hindi or any other language, your native tongue, the native language that you speak, pauses are important. Between a sentence, between two paras, there should be a pause. The best orators are not orators who speak very fast. The best orators are those who speak with pauses, who speak clearly, confidently, with conviction, and with pauses. You remember Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji? Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji was known for his longest pauses. It wasn't because he didn't know what to say, it's because he strategically took those pauses, took his time, and gave his responses. If you look at the speeches of the best of American presidents, okay, every top leader and American president you would find takes pauses in his speech. Okay, so pauses are good. But what happens is, where we make a mistake in the spoken language, in spoken English, is that when you're not comfortable with taking pauses, with silence, you tend to fill it up. Your mind tends to fill it up with these common fillers, the 12 fillers that I just highlighted. There could be maybe one or two more, maybe three more that you might be using. But these are the 12 common fillers that I find over the years. I repeat, like, and, kinda, sorta, okay, yeah, basically, definitely, I think so. Okay? Avoid these fillers. Get comfortable with pauses, get comfortable with silence. When I say pauses, doesn't mean it has to be a 1 minute pause, but a 3 second pause, a 4 second pause is fine, it's all right. You're gathering your thoughts and then you're preparing a response. Okay? So that's the end of part 1 of this lesson today, which was about fillers, or what we call impulsive fillers, to avoid. Avoid these fillers, these impulsive fillers. And to avoid them, get comfortable with silence, get comfortable with pauses. Okay? A few more tips before I end this part 1 of this chapter is that take a breath. When you take a break, take a breath. The pause that you're taking, or the moment of silence, take a breath in between. While you do that, while you take the pause, smile. That's another tip. It's a tip that I use very, very well. Smile. I often say smile like a congressman. You see, the congressman, I don't mean the Indian National Congress necessarily. By a congressman, I mean the senators in the United States. You see, they have a near perfect smile. Okay? So when you take a pause, if you smile with it, it's not an awkward moment, and you buy those 3 seconds of time, or 4 seconds of time while you're taking a pause. So smile, and eye contact helps. Okay, breathe. So breathe, smile, have an eye contact while you take that pause, and be comfortable with the pause. A 3 second pause is good. You don't have to fill it up with an impulsive filler. It's good. Okay? So that would be the end of part 1 of this chapter. Let us now begin with part 2 of this chapter, which is about fillers to strategically use. Yes. See, the one part, or the one side of the coin, was the impulsive fillers to avoid, which we went through, the 12 impulsive fillers that you should avoid in your spoken English. The other part of it, the other side of the coin, is fillers that you should strategically use. Okay, that would help build a response, help build a more effective response, a more effective answer to a query that's put to you, or in any conversation that you're in the middle of. to make it a more positive, a strong, a more meaningful um conversation. Okay, so let us begin with part 2. These fillers we call fillers to strategically use. They're not impulsive fillers, but fillers that you should use, in fact, in your conversations, especially in a Q&A kind of a situation. Okay? Now, here are these fillers. The first filler is, well, you see. The second is, I see. The third is, good. Yeah, so the third is, good question. The fourth is, hang on a moment. The next is, that's a very good question. It may require me some time to answer this one. The next is, how shall I put it? The next is, what's the word for it? I'm searching for the word for it, the right word for it. The next is, it's on the tip of my tongue. Let me think. The next is, I'm not sure, but here's what I think. The next is, I am temporarily having a memory lapse. The next is, I may be wrong, I often am, but here's what I think. The next is, my 2 cents here are. Yeah, got it? I repeat, well, you see, I see. Good question. Hang on a moment. That's a very good question. It may require me some time to answer this one. How shall I put it? What's the word for it? It's on the tip of my tongue. I'm not sure, but here's what I think. I am temporarily having a memory lapse. I may be wrong. I often am, but here's what I think. My 2 cents are. Yeah, got it? So these are fillers that you can use strategically, especially in a Q&A situation, or where your question is put up to you, or just generally in conversations when you need a second or 2 or 3 seconds to respond. Okay, never be an impulsive responder. To be a good communicator, okay, to be an effective communicator, to be a good convincer, to be a good closer, pauses are important. Your responses should be well articulated, and for that you need a second to 3 seconds to respond. Even if you have the response on the tip of your tongue every time, do not make the mistake of becoming an impulsive responder, that the moment a question is shot to you, dhad comes your answer. No, हाजिर जवाबी इसमें नहीं है कि कितनी जल्दी आप जवाब देते हैं. हाजिर जवाबी इसमें है कि आप 1 से 3 सेकंड पॉज लेकर के कितना बढ़िया वेल आर्टिकुलेटेड जवाब देते हैं. Okay, so do that. So these were fillers that you should use, and by this, and with this rather, I would conclude end of part 2 of today's lesson. Okay, so here's your exercise now. The first exercise that I've already given you in part 1, which is that now when you make conversations over a period of 1 or 2 days, you need to identify which are the impulsive fillers that you use most often among the 12 that I gave you. Okay, the fillers that you use most often. Get conscious of those fillers, the ones that you're using more often, and try and drop them, not use them. And how you do that, I've told you. Smile, eye contact, take a breath, get comfortable, most importantly, with silence. And pauses are good. Remember, a 2 to 3 second pauses are good, is good rather. Okay. And next is those awkward moments or those impulsive fillers that you've been using. Replace those impulsive fillers next with strategic fillers that you should be using. That'll make you a better communicator, a better responder, a better closer. Okay, with these fillers that I told you, fillers that you should strategically use to be a better and a more effective communicator. Okay, do that and start practicing this in your daily conversations and take it from there. All right, so with that I end lesson 4 today. I hope you had a good time and learned something. I'll catch you in lesson 5 soon. Thank you. You have a good day. Jai Hind and Jai Bharat.